Hello everyone, I'm that dude over there, and who had Danganronpa 2 remake on their bingo board for this year? Probably the same people who had Danganronpa 2 alternate timeline game on their bingo card. The Nintendo Direct had so much to offer, but this was the thing that piqued my interest. And not just because it would introduce a whole new generation to Kamaida. So I'd like to take a moment to just discuss and tell you what's on my mind. For example, let's get the obvious out of the way. We're about to get a whole new killing game, which means new victims, new killers, and there's a lot to consider with this. For one, what do they want to explore in this timeline? For the people who want Hajime to be a victim, there's a lot to consider here. Like, as much as I hate to bring it up, each of the main characters are perfect for their entries and how they relate to the themes of their games. Now, it's been a good while since I revisited Trigger Happy Havoc and Goodbye Despair, so I may get some things wrong here. But Makoto, as much as I could rag on him for being a milquetoast, basic, blank slate of a protagonist, Makoto is just the idealization of hope against despair, which is, the theme of Trigger Happy Havoc, beneath all the executions and questionable CGs. Makoto is a bright-eyed optimist who never gives up in the face of adversity. In V3, the theme of the game explores the dichotomy of truth and lies, where both Kaede and Shuichi are used to express these aspects of the game. Kaede was killed because of a lie that she believed to be the truth. Meanwhile, Shuichi explores the truth and uses lies to help reach a conclusion. Shuichi's existence is even a contradiction depending on what you believe happens in the events of V3. Shuichi being a lie, as the real person Shuichi is based on, gave himself to participate in the killing game. Meanwhile, Hajime is perfect for the themes that Goodbye Despair pushes, that being to fight for the future, regardless of how bleak or bright it may be. Hajime is a character searching for the past to better understand himself, and when he learns the truth, he chooses to deny everything to live in a state of stagnation. What Hajime learns from everyone, but most importantly Chiaki, is that only you can determine how the future spins. If there's no route that will lead to easier times, then you need to take matters into your own hands and create your own future, with said good times. The reason I bring this up is because in scenarios where people say Hajime dies, whether he's a killer or to be killed, what would the game try to explore then? I mean, with what we know about the DR2 cast, they all live troubling and or downright dark lives. I mean, shit, look at Nagito. The greatest thing that happened to him only occurred after he learned that he's going to suffer from a terminal illness. I don't know what they would want to do, considering V3's existence leaves all the doors open to what they could possibly come up with. And with the boat being revealed in the trailer, I can even see that the islands they explore could be different than in the original. There are way too many factors to consider for a definitive who kills who and why, as well as what they could try to explore with, the future being their head theme. That is, if they want to explore the future. I mean, they could explore any theme they want. All I'm saying is that, we know the backgrounds to these characters, and I just don't know what they would want to do. If you have any ideas, let me know in the comments below. But before I get into my ideal list, here's at least one thing I want to see, right? For Chapter 3, I want a double kill involving Fuyuhiko and Peko. Basically, in V3, we learned a very important detail about double kills. The first killer is the Blackened, while the second killer basically gets screwed over. It didn't lead into anything in that game, but I think Goodbye Despair is a perfect game to explore this. Hear me out. Say Fuyuhiko did kill someone, and Peko wasn't able to stop him. Peko, caring about Fuyuhiko's safety, kills someone to ensure Fuyuhiko gets away, and, she would take the fall for this. However, Monokuma reveals the rule that we know from V3, and Peko, who has fought so hard to protect him, now has to watch as all of her efforts fail to save Fuyuhiko. I think this would be just as tragic as the original, and I think it's the kind of thing Monokuma would do, And the same would go in reverse if you wanted Peko to still be the killer, but come on, we're getting a new killing game with new killers. I think this would be more interesting. Also, let's try not to have Peko be a killer again. Or, here's another fun idea I had. What if Nagito was killed in Chapter 1? Considering that Kaide was heavily marketed to be the protagonist for V3, only to be immediately killed, I don't doubt for a second that Kodaka, or the writing staff for that matter, would at least consider the idea of, hey, let's show off Nagito, make him look super cool, remind everyone that Nagito's in this game, only to kill him off in Chapter 1. I don't know, I just think it would be really funny. But all that out of the way, now let's actually discuss who I think the survivors would be. First off, I think that Hajime would still be the lead, and I'm also going to say that Akane is also going to be a survivor. Hajime, since I don't think they would kill the protagonist again. Look, it was a spectacle for V3, and I think it really worked considering the marketing and how the death actually impacted the rest of the story. However, I don't think they would kill Hajime because of Izuru and the wasted potential there. I just think that killing Hajime would just, I don't know what kind of narrative purpose it would. Listen, I think killing Hajime here, I just don't see a timeline where this happens. I think it would be, especially with all the Izuru stuff, it just feels like a narrative mistake. As for Akane, I don't really know. It's just kind of a gut feeling. I have no reason to believe she would earn a spot here, but I think she's just, I don't know, if I had to like best describe it, it's kind of like the Owen effect, or Owen from Total Drama. Basically, Owen managed to make it to the final 3, and you'd never really noticed Owen being there until the final 4 at the very least. I think the same thing's gonna happen with Akane, but I don't know, that could just be my gut talking here. Anyway, as for the remaining 3, if Hiyoko isn't here, I'm gonna be pissed. It was revealed that somewhere in development that Fuyuhiko was going to die in Chapter 3. However, they realized that if Fuyuhiko died here, that Pekko's sacrifice would have essentially meant nothing. So instead, they replaced Fuyuhiko with Hiyoko. However, by doing this, they made Mahiru's death mean nothing. We can see in Chapter 3 how much Mahiru meant to Hiyoko, and the inklings of a character arc to be a better person. But that all got wasted when she was killed in the worst chapter of Danganronpa 2. Seriously, I hate it, and I wanted to just... Anyway, next, I think Mikan. I know, it's an odd choice, but again, hear me out. Mikan is a character we know worshipped Junko, probably more than the other despairs if we use the anime as reference. I think the idea of Mikan meeting Junko and being one of the people to defy her at the end would be really interesting and great development for Mikan. And surviving with Hiyoko could actually have Mikan grow from Hiyoko's torment. Maybe growing a spine and standing up for herself. Again, I just hate Chapter 3 in the original, so I want something better for those who were robbed. And as for my final pick, it's usually an oddball amongst the others. So if I had to choose, I would say either Gundam because of, you know, his absurdities when he speaks. Ibuki, so we can have the Chapter 3 squad here. Or the man, the myth, the degenerate himself, Teru Hanamura. Yeah, no one would see it coming. And it would be so hilarious if this sex pest actually made it. I swear to God, if he does actually make it, that would be, I would laugh. I would be starstruck. I don't know what I would say. But yeah, that's my thoughts. And there's no way to tell what will actually happen until the game comes out next year. For all we know, we could get a transfer student midway and increase the number to 17. It's all speculation at this point, and I would love to know what you all think. What do you think they're going to try and explore in Danganronpa 2x2? What would you like to see from the mysteries that come in each chapter? Is my reasonings for suspecting Mikan to be here good? Or are you smoking crack with the rest of us and showing your Teru survival arc? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're down there, leave a like and subscribe, as it helps idiots like me who suck at promoting videos. But you know, till next time, stay safe out there.